Welcome back to Moneyline Plus, everyone. I'm Dakota, and here I'm going to give you free advice on sports picks that are happening that day. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. A recap of last night, I went 1-1. I picked the Grizzlies money line. They beat the Wizards pretty handily, and I picked the Spurs +4 against the Mavericks. They had it the whole game, and in the last 3 minutes gave it up and lost by 10. So that was just trash. So I went 1-1. As you know, if you gamble, that's a win. I made my money back. I hope I can do better tonight. All right. So I have 3 games for you today. Let's dive right into it. The first one: Celtics travel to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. The line right now is 3.5 towards the Nets. The over/under is 234. Now, the first time they played, the Nets smacked the Celtics by 30 points. Okay. Now, granted, KD was playing, but now they have Harden. Kyrie went ballistic. Okay. He shot 70% from 3 and had about 8 assists too. With Harden on the court now, he won't have to facilitate as much. So you will see more of a scoring output from Kyrie, I believe. As you can see, Tatum had a so-so game. 20 points from him to me is so-so. Now, Jaylen Brown has really stepped it up this year. And in that game, he dropped 30, which they're going to need. They need them both to drop around 30 points if they want to keep up with the #1 offense in the league. Now, over the last 10 games, the Nets are cruising, just 9-1 and blowing teams out. But the Celtics have actually been picking up steam. They've won their last 4 games. So it might be a little closer than we think. Boston is not that great on the road, though. Okay, they're only 7-12, so betting on them away from Boston is risky. The Nets, on the other hand, they're 13-6 at home, and that's with a change in lineup all year. They've had games where they've missed Kyrie, games half the year they didn't even have Harden, and half the season they haven't had Durant, and they're still 3-6 or 13-6 at home. So that's good to me. Compared to the entire league, the Nets are #1 in points per game and #2 in assists. Also top 10 in points differential and blocks. Being #1 in points per game and assists, that's huge. You're running up the score and you're sharing the ball. That's hard to stop for any team. The Celtics, on the other hand, not really going anywhere. Not really standing out anywhere. Very mediocre, as you can see by the record. They're barely over 500. The Nets, to me, are just in a different class. I'm not going to overthink this one. I think fresh off the All-Star break and the way Harden's been playing, to me, my play here would be the Nets -3.5. On to the second game. Warriors at the Clippers. Right now, the line is the Clippers -7.5. They played twice this year so far, split them 1-1. The last one, Curry actually dropped 38 on them and won the game. I think this is a lot of points to be given Steph Curry right now. 7.5 points for a hot Steph Curry that's fresh off the 3-point contest, and he put on a show during the All-Star game. I think he's a dark horse to win the MVP this year. I just think they're giving him a lot of points in this game. Looking at the season performances, the Clippers clearly have a better overall season. But as of late, both teams are kind of in a slump, each losing 3 straight. Now, maybe they just wanted to get to the All-Star break. The league rankings tell you everything you need to know about this team. The Warriors are ranked first in assists per game. Between him and Draymond, they're sharing the ball, getting everybody involved, so it's very team-oriented. Whereas the Clippers, they do rank in the top 10 in points per game, ranking 7th. So the ISO ball is working, but they play a lot of isolation ball. It's just give it to Kawhi, give it to Paul George at the top of the key, and just go to work. So you can see by these league rankings how those teams are faring this season. So the Clippers, to me, they're having a better season, clearly. They have a better roster player for player, I believe. But I think the Warriors are a better team. And because of that, 7.5 points is a lot for the way Steph Curry's playing. I'm gonna have to take the 7.5, and that's gonna be my play. The Warriors plus 7.5. Now, the last game of the night, Knicks versus the Bucks. The line right now is the Bucks minus 11, and the over/under is 222.5. The Knicks actually won the game last time they played. Now, this was earlier in the year. It was like the first week of the year, or yeah, it was like the third game of the season, I believe. So these are two completely different teams now. But Giannis had a good game, like he always does, 27 and 13. And he got some help from Middleton, dropped 22. And they also had Bobby Portis drop 17 off the bench, okay? But the Knicks got the best of them that night. Randall having 29 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists. They got 27 points and 3 for 3 from three-point range from Alfred Payton. And Alec Burke chipped in with 18 points off the bench. So I'm not sure if those two will do that again. But I do think they keep this closer than 11 points that they're giving them. The injuries, Bucks should have a full lineup. No injuries on their front. The Knicks, on the other hand, they're missing Mitchell still with the hurt hand. Derrick Rose is going to miss the first couple games of this road trip in the concussion protocol. The COVID protocol. And Taj Gibson is not going to play in this game either. Now, the Knicks have been playing well over the last 10 games. They're going 7-3, and they've covered the spread more often than not this year. This could be a little revenge game for the Bucks earlier this year, but 11 points is a lot, especially for a team that doesn't have a winning record against the spread. The Bucks win on an average of 6 points per game, okay? And they rank third in points differential. They also rank second in points per game. So scoring is not an issue for them this season, but I just don't see them blowing the Knicks out in this game. Another area that's very glaring to me is the rebounding. You see that the Bucks are number 1 in rebounding, but I've been preaching about the Knicks defense all year. And if you mix that defense with the Knicks being third in rebounding also, I think they keep this game a lot closer than the 11 points. And so my play here would be the Knicks plus 11. Now, quick recap. I'm picking the Nets minus 3.5 to take care of business against the Celtics. The Knicks plus 11 to keep it close against the Bucks. And the Warriors plus 7.5 going up against the Clippers. So, yeah, once again, if you're watching my show, I appreciate it. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I hope we win tonight. I hope we cash some tickets. And I'll be back with you tomorrow. Good luck tonight.